And I am forever amazed every time I meet somebody that says I'm staying for the children.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at them and go, look at your children. You wonder why your son is acting out, or your daughter stays in her room and doesn't want to talk to you or come out of the room. Why do you think that might be? And it's a lie that people tell themselves. And I think one of the best descriptions of a reading by me, by a client, was not for the faint of heart. I always tell people, if you want somebody to tell you that your life is going to be Disneyland, I'm the wrong girl to come to. Because I believe the truth only has one story. I don't like surprises that are life-changing surprises. And I ask my clients to record their readings because I read in a great deal of detail. And some of it, I say to women, how many 5'11" dark-haired men do you know? And they'll go, 30. And I'll say, right. How many of them do you know that are from Virginia, that went to school in Maryland, that are divorced, that have 2 kids, that have a motorcycle? There are 3 brothers in the family. How many of those do you know? You know?
Talk about getting right to the exacting point.
Yes, and so when I look at couples that are staying together and they use the children as an excuse, and then there's this other person over here, I kind of go, oh, you poor babies, you know. And eventually they're usually driven apart, or they have to come back here and do it all over again because they didn't get the lesson.
How many times do we actually come back, Karen? And
that's in God's hands. I just work here. I always say I just work here, and if God wants me to be a house painter tomorrow, I'll be at Home Depot buying brushes in the morning.
By the way, Home Depot has a great sale on paint this week, everybody. Brushes as well.
Because this was not what, this was definitely not what I chose to do. This chose me.
How do you deal as a professional and someone who really cares and who I believe to be honest? How do you deal with the other members of the trade? And I'm putting that in brackets and I'm being very sarcastic. Who are out there, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and their only goal in life is to slip their hand into that person's wallet and take as much as they can.
Absolutely true.
How do you deal with that?
Well, you know what? I'm their worst nightmare. I'm their worst nightmare because I'm not the person that will just go along and shake my head and go, yeah, that's what I thought.
Right.
I'm not that person. It is. I take responsibility for the words that come out of my mouth, which is why I tell everybody that comes for a reading, please record it. I don't want you to think I said this. I want you to actually hear what I said. And it is looking at they're charlatans. It's painful for me because that is what people think of this profession. And I have great reverence and respect for my work. And I have a very funny story to tell you that just actually happened this afternoon. A client of mine that I haven't seen in 8 or 10 years called me, and she said, I talk about you all the time. I was so astonished at your reading, and everything came true, she said, and I want to come again, and my daughter wants a reading too, and she is so excited to meet you. I said, would you please tell her I don't look like a hooker? Because most of the ones that people see on television look like hookers. I mean, I'd be in a hospital if I wore those shoes.
Yeah.
And I think I would never walk up to somebody while they're putting groceries in their car in a parking lot, or picking tomatoes
wait
in
a
the
minute.
market.
Hold on here. I'm having a psychic flash. Are we talking about the Long Island medium by any chance?
I'm not naming any names.
Oh, come
on. But, there's a bunch of them out there. It's like, take your pick.
Oh,
if
Lord.
you threw them in a bag and pulled one out, would you really know which one you had?
They're as bad as politicians. Same thing.
Oh my God! Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And it's so sad to me. It really, I find it offensive, and it's hurtful. This is people's lives you're dealing with. It's shameful to me, and I feel very responsible. And I have to tell you, I have a very, very peaceful heart. I am a very, very grateful and happy person, and if I died tomorrow, I don't have a single complaint in my life. I don't think I've missed a thing. I've been blessed to meet some wonderful people. I have not one living family member, but I have an enormous family of friends, and just about everybody I care about in my life I have met through my work. They started as clients. And they're still my clients, but they also have become my friends.
We used to do the show from psychic fairs, and it came to the point...
I've never done a psychic fair in my life.
Well, let me just tell you what happened here. We'd go, we'd set up the show, and you stay there, you do, you meet and greet people, and I would watch people go from psychic to psychic to psychic to psychic to psychic to psychic to psychic.
Oh my
until
God.
they hear what they want to hear, and then they'd go home. It came to the point, Karen, that I refused to do any more shows from psychic fairs.
I don't. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's
shameful.
It is.
I have to tell you, I think it's really shameful. And I have never, in all the years, decades, and I've been doing this way before it was popular. And what I always say, where people could decide they wanted to be a psychic, and they found a little small book at the checkout stand at the market, saying you too can be. Every time someone calls me a fortune teller, I want to scream. It's like that. What I do, please do not put me in that category. That is not what I do.
Karen, you and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with Karen Page, X-Zone Nation. She's the author of My Life Across the Table. Her website is www.karenpage.com. My name's Rob McConnell. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone Radio Show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Joyce with Stargazing on the X-Zone, the week of May 5th through May 11th, 2014. A favorable trine between willful Sun and the intense Pluto gives us the power to transform the darkest reaches of our unconscious minds into the light of love. Because Pluto, the planet of transformation, is connecting with the Sun in Taurus, you can indulge in new ways of thinking and see things not for what they are, but for what they could be. Unlimited realities. On Cinco de Mayo, Monday, the moon is in Leo, which really knows how to throw a party. The cosmic ups and downs of recent months begin to even out as May delivers a dose of steady Taurus energy. Mercury slides into Gemini on Wednesday, where it enjoys the status of the favorite sun. Sales, marketing, and social networking will be busting with new ways to connect that have never been tried before. Change can cause conflict. Conflict brings about change. This is a time in the cycle of human affairs when things need stirring up and when the hint of dramatic change is in the air, especially with politics. In order to succeed, revolutionary change must be in alignment with certain unchanging natural laws. The process must begin at the right moment, gather support from a broad base of people, be guided by sincere and capable leadership, and, most important of all, must address a real need. The strength of the focus of change will always be in proportion to the urgency of the need being championed. This is true whether the revolution is in government, in business, in education, or in one's personal affairs. Revolutionary change points a time when chaos arises from order. It is important to realize that not all order is good and not all chaos is bad. Chaos, in fact, is an integral part of the way things, as any parent in modern science will confirm, happen. Have the courage to radically change and renew the way you present yourself. In this way, you can summon chaos to your cause, and you will unleash a new power on your behalf. If engaging in a negotiation, change the rules. If composing a piece of music, add the unexpected. If courting a lover, dare to be unconventional. Saturday brings obstacles as you really want change as well as to be loved. The moon is in Libra for Mother's Day. There are numerous ongoing challenges all that day, so don't allow obstacles and hurts from the past to be reignited. Just go with the flow and plan to call it an early evening.
And for more information, or if you'd like to arrange a one-on-one consultation with Elizabeth Joyce, visit her website at www.new-visions.com. And Elizabeth does consultations worldwide via Skype. That's www.new-visions.com. X-Zone, my guest of this hour is Karen Page. She is the author of Life Across the Table. Her website is www.karenpage.com. And Karen, you are the only psychic who has ever addressed NASA. And I was wondering if you could tell us about that.
That was... Oh, by the way, I just want to say one thing about what we spoke of before. There are some really fine readers and really fine mediums out there that are legitimate.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to go to someone for a reading, please be picky. Be picky about who you go to.
All right, let me ask you this in all fairness. How can our listeners tell a good psychic, I mean, besides you and others that we've had here on the show, and a psychic who is just at it because they think it's a fast way to make a buck, and they really don't.
Well,
and they really don't have any scruples or integrity.
That's my that makes me crazy.
Me too.
Well, there are a couple of ways. Okay, first of all, a reader is not supposed to ask you a bunch of questions. What are you doing there if they have to ask you questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the whole point is, and if they will not record your reading, and if they're saying something generic that could belong to your neighbor or your cousin, get up, take your money, and leave. Do not stay there, because those are people